Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and then always, of course, pandasups.com, discount code TDL for all your good protein and workout supplements. All right, here we go. So we're doing Friday Night Live, of course, again, because we get rid of all your Raiders odds and bets. Do something a little different this week. We're gonna look at the quarterbacks a little bit in depth. I just have some stats that I saw posted that I just kind of want to talk about and see if we can deep dive into these guys. It's not gonna be like everybody's favorite quarterback, like Curtis Warwick and those guys. It's just 4 quarterbacks that might have a chance to go in the first round, and then of course talk about Raiders news, all that good stuff, man. So Glenn, how you going? How you doing, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. It's getting ready for both of our schools. Oh, you're not. For college. Your guys aren't playing for a while. But as a non-conference school, Notre Dame plays Indiana next Friday night. So I'm just the Raiders are the Raiders. I'm hoping for the Irish to give me one playoff win because winner of that game plays Georgia, and I don't care who's quarterback for Georgia. That's scary. So other than that, it's Raiders. How do we end this season as fast as possible? That is the I would endorse all scientific grant money going to figure out how to speed up an NFL season.
Yeah, I mean, this season has been very, very, very long. Let's just say that it's been a long season, long everything. I mean, the Raiders have lost 9 in a row. Like, we haven't felt a win since September, Glenn. Like, it hasn't been like a oh my God, we won a game since September. It's been a long damn time. And
Earth, Wind, and Fire wrote a song about that.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
it might have been that day. It might have been that day.
It might have been. That's the last time the Raiders won a game.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. I mean, you kind of like have to kind of get into the situation where, like, yeah, you want them to keep losing, but I don't know. It's so ugly. I'd rather I'd rather them win a game and then lose out, and then hopefully the Giants do something stupid.
Yeah.
And, that's what you'd rather happen. But I don't know. It's just so bad right now. All these losses in a row.
It's terrible. It's especially that last one where you're just like, the team just hangs around in the game. The Buccaneers are they come out banging. I'm like, wow, we're gonna get blown out, and then all of a sudden, Raiders defense makes a few plays, but they just do nothing on offense, nothing, and they look terrible. And I hope there's a plan. I just hope there's a plan, because right now it just looks really desolate. And this is the bad part of quote unquote tanking, right? Which everyone goes, oh, you just got to do it. You just got to do it, man. You still have losing this many games in a row creates new questions for you, though, that you didn't think you had to answer. Because before, when they were losing, it was quarterback. I'm like, cornerback, all these other things that are popping up where, I don't know about Robert Spillane anymore. There's a lot of stuff wrong with this team right now. And it starts from up top, and we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, this team has a lot of holes. That's the truth. That's really the truth, Glenn. This team has a lot of holes. They got a hole at corner. I'm saying we could have a conversation. A lot of people want to bring Spillane back. I think Spillane is like some games he is aggressive, and then some games he's not. It's the weirdest thing on film. So he can be replaced too, right? He can be replaced. If you think about it, both corners could be. We need both corners. You know what I'm saying?
I like Bennett.
Okay. Jacorian Bennett's been play well. Okay, I forgot about him. He's been hurt for so long, so I forgot about him. But yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Jacorian Bennett is good, but Jack Jones, he's given him 7-8 touchdowns.
He's completely on my don't care list. See you later. Nice pick here and there. That's great, but yeah, you got to corners. Safeties. I feel like they, Merrick's earned his money. I think the question: who do you play, Merrick or Spillane? If you were to pick one of them, to me, it's Merrick. I think Merrick's starting to like really pop off the screen every game.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just getting really confident. You see that athleticism come into play, and he has his playmaking ability. I think on the D line, interior for sure, you're going to want to look there. Even with Wilkins coming back, you're still going to want to add to the interior of that defensive line. There's needs there. On offense, I'd like more receivers. I'd like more. Like I like Tucker. They don't have a quarterback that can feed Tucker the way he needs to be, but they need another guy, which I'm sure we'll bring up. There's some interesting stuff that you think about in the draft when we talk about quarterbacks, where there's still a lot more needs on this team, and I'm just like, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, God, I really wish I'd just let somebody else fall in love with Cam Ward at 1, and I'd take a nice 2 years worth of picks from somebody. And then have my arsenal ready for that next year. Maybe draft somebody this year to develop or something. I just really don't. It's just a bad year to be this bad. I feel like that's what.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like a country song, or something. Like it's a bad year to be this bad.
It is, man. It's just, yeah, it is a bad year to be bad, because even if you look at these quarterbacks coming out, right, which we'll get into, it's just, I mean, I like Cam Ward a lot. I think Cam Ward could do a lot. It's just Shedeur Sanders is just, he's, we'll get into him a little bit too as well. We'll talk about them. But it's just, as a quarterback group, if I look at next year, if I just looked at the next year, I'm like, man, Malik Murphy does look like he's like 6'4", like 230. And
South Carolina quarterback.
Yeah. And he was Duke. He had Duke 9-3. You know what I mean? There's just, I don't know. It's just a bunch of guys that you look at like, oh man, those guys look like prospects, and and the Raiders got, these short guys basically, because who knows? Shedeur Sanders is 6'2". I don't know yet, but it's just like, yeah, you just like DJ Lagway's coming. You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna feel?
Well, DJ Lagway's a freshman, right?
Yeah, but that's like 2 years away. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, those are the things I think about when I watch these quarterbacks. But I mean, it is what it is. So
yeah, I know Quinn Ewers is going back to school. I saw that, or like is getting an offer to go back to school and hit the transfer portal, which that's insane to me. Dude's, I guess you can make good money there, but yeah.
Go to Oregon, bro. Like, just go to Oregon.
He should actually. That would be where I would go if I were him. I would just go to Oregon or Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got a 5-star guy that hopefully they're starting next year.
Yeah.
Last name of Carr, ironically, but I'm like, that's what something Notre Dame would do, is take a 5th-year senior and ask him to go win something. But yeah, I just, that's me. I'm like, God, none of these quarterbacks, like, I should already have in my mind like a few of them that I'm like, well, at least we're getting this guy. Every time I'm like, well, we could have Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, that's nice, but damn, like, you see all these guys right now. I didn't see it on the rundown, so I'll talk about it now. I was talking. I like to throw out hypotheticals on Twitter and stuff, because what the hell else are we going to talk about for this Raider Nation year of dismay? But Darnold's the top free agent quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Sam Darnold, but there is a case to be made that you're signing him in his prime. If you do that, there's a case to be made. I know you're not getting Kevin O'Connell. That's the problem. Kevin O'Connell makes chicken salad out of chicken shit. But Darnold's a year older than Bo Nix. He obviously had the hype of like a first-round quarterback. So it's not like it's this guy that they found, 5th round that put something together. His contract projection, and this, who knows how true this is, 3 years, $100 million. So you're talking about like in the 30s. That's like average. That's like Baker Mayfield money is what you're paying him.
Yeah.
If that's the case, and then you trade down from 1 and get a shit ton of picks. Like, I'm almost there right now. Like, I'm almost there. I'm not there yet. And fans are like, no. I'm like, well, at least it's a big arm guy that can move around a little bit. And then you trade down from 1, let's say, provided that these quarterbacks are going 1 and 2, and if somebody like the Saints somebody like the Browns, somebody that needs cheap rookie contract, like bad at quarterback to maneuver around their roster, they get desperate and they give you 2 years worth of picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, I'm almost there. I'm almost there right now. Cause this class is just not inspiring me.
The only thing I would disagree with you on is if the Raiders end up at 1, they got to pick. I'm not a fan of trading out of 1 because I think you get to pick any player that you want at that point. Like if you don't want a quarterback, like you could take Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? Or like you could be crazy, like Abdul Carter has a crazy.
He is a beast,
right? You just take him, or maybe like I don't know. Like if you're at 1 or 2, I just don't like trading out of those because I feel like that is the spot where you get the 2 best players on your board, no matter what.
but
Right?
if you're not taking a quarterback, it literally doesn't make sense to pick at 1, in my opinion. Like I truly like that's where I'm at right now, where somebody's going to want the pick at number 1. Don't be the desperate team, take advantage of the desperate team. So somebody's going to be the Carolina that trades up everything for a Bryce Young type. Like somebody's going to want to do it, in my opinion. I think they will, especially like the New York Giants, maybe even the Jets. Get them again. Let fleece them a little bit again or something. Get these picks, and then you still get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. I think you don't trade back to 10 or 11. You trade, you stay at 5, 6, around that area. Like not the Giants, but Jets. I'm looking at teams like that, and I think like I just feel like I hate taking a quarterback because fans are tired of not having one, rather than falling in love with the quarterback. Maybe they do. They know more about this than I do, like truly, but maybe they fall in love with the quarterback and we have to take it. But I just hate this idea that it's like, no, you got to pick there. You could pick at 3, trade down from 1 and go to 3 or 4. I don't feel like that's bad. You still could get the guy that you're talking about, Travis Hunter. If they traded down from 1, got an extra first or second round pick or whatever package, and then still got Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, I would consider that a win. Like to me personally. Now and then the Lagway class, all these other classes, you find out maybe Darnold's not Jim Plunkett that comes over to your team and just wins you a Super Bowl, which is more than likely.
Yes.
Or maybe say or you take Tetra, what's his name, T-Mac McMillan, right? You take McMillan. You have Bowers, McMillan, Myers, and Tucker with Sam Darnold, young offensive line that looks pretty good, and then you with a shit ton of picks that you can use. I feel like that right now.
Yeah. I do feel you. I feel exactly what you're saying. Like they just have so many holes in this team that you're right. And then do you take these quarterbacks and decide that you want to just ride with this quarterback when you have a team that has a lot of holes? And I was just looking at Sam Darnold's stats though, and he has a sack percentage of 9.39%.
He holds that football a long time.
He's been sacked 40 times.
Yeah, with a good O-line.
Right? And I was looking at PFF says they aren't a good O-line. But hold on, let me go to the.
Well, Darisaw did get hurt. So that's
a lot of sacks though, man. A 9% sack percentage? Like just think about that. Like he's like basically every time he steps back, he gets sacked.
I know.
Right?
I just mean he's the top guy. He's the top, because it's not a good free agency class or a good draft class. That's what sucks. It's not. It's neither. I just mean, to me, I don't feel like neither Ward or Sanders really. I like Sanders, but they don't jump out to me as like, I gotta have this guy. Yeah. Especially with all the holes on this roster. Like you said, you have an ability to go get starting corners, starting O-line. I mean, are they all going to hit? No, but you have the ability to do that and go. I don't know. It just, to me, we'll see. Because if they get the number 1 pick, then they're probably going to, and if Pierce isn't fired, which we're going to talk about, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think they're going to take the quarterback.
Me too.
I feel like Davis is going to push for that.
Me too. If you're at 1, they're going to say, just go get your quarterback. Yeah. And, I'm not going to be against it. I just, I'm kind of feeling.
Another side conversation before we get into the topics here is, are they going to finish at 1? if you just look at their schedule, I talked about this on the It's a Reaction, I think, or I don't know, or maybe the film show. But do you really think they're going to finish at one? Look at the schedule at this point with who they're playing and
Yeah,
the quarterbacks they're playing.
yeah, because they are allergic to like closing a game out. Like they've only done it once. Like close. Okay, twice. They've done it twice. They closed out the Ravens too. They closed out both teams. They just cannot do it. Like, and I think the Jaguars sneakily have played like better ball. Their
Okay.
quarterbacks hurt. Like they actually like on defense have played pretty well lately. And the Falcons stop the run really well. And I mean, they don't have a good pass rush, so this would be the time to air it out against them. Then you're talking
Yeah.
about the Chargers. I don't see them beating the Chargers down the stretch, but you never know. It's a rivalry.
I mean, the Chargers might be resting their starters, though.
How though? Are they going to be guaranteed a playoff spot by that time? I don't know.
Yeah, the way the NFL is right now, I mean, the AFC, they're 8-5. They'd have to they would have to like literally
Depends on what the Broncos
blow it.
record is. What is the Broncos record at that time? They're
They're
going to
eight
have
and five, right? No, I mean, but the closest team to them is the Dolphins, who are 6-7. So literally, the Broncos and the Chargers would just have to just collapse, which is a possibility. I mean, it's possible. I'm not. I mean,
well,
these
no,
are the Broncos and the Chargers.
you're gonna have two teams out of the North in the playoffs. You're gonna have a team out of the East.
Mhm.
And then only one wild card's coming out of the West. It's going to be
Yeah.
Broncos going to be battling the Chargers towards the end for that.
No, they both have the last wild card. The Broncos and Chargers.
Yeah. So what I mean is they're going to. Is that so? They both are going to have it. There's nobody
Yeah,
else.
yeah, they're both good, unless they collapse, which is a possibility. I'm not saying this not. I can see the team that I can see collapsing is the Chargers. I can see the Chargers just like going full collapse.
No, for sure. Yeah, Tampa with this weekend is going to be a weird test for them, I think. And then, but yeah, I just Chargers might be one, but you know, Saints is definitely. I mean, you know, KTVU legendary legend Julie Hayner's son might be starting for the Saints.
Yeah,
Jake
yeah.
Hayner with his cool little sassy pictures.
Yeah, his zesty picture, man.
He's sassy. He's sassy, dude. Like, yeah, that's that's something you like a TV show you see on the CW. You know, like
yeah,
it's very, what's going on here? Yeah, but yeah, the Saints would be tough. The Saints would be tough. So yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. That is just, yeah.
It's just interesting stuff, man. I just thought about that every time I look at the schedule. I mean, they are playing Mac Jones, and even though I think the defense still has some holes, I think the pass rush is getting a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
And that I think that's going to play a factor with backup quarterbacks. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, they haven't played a lot of backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, that is very true. All right, so let's answer some questions first. We got some questions here. Why does Shadori look so good in highlights, but when I watch practice, I see Gardner Minshew? I don't want to get to that too. It's too early.
Come on, man. Don't bring that up.
Oh man. I mean, it depends on what game you watch with Shador. That's all. Depends on what game you watch with him. That's what I'm at with him. Because Kansas State looks really good, but Cincinnati, I'm scarred. I got to watch more. Like I feel like I have to watch another game because I'm like scarred from the Cincinnati game. That just the way he played. I think it's my whole problem with him at this point. And while I'm kind of like all you with like a little bit with trading out, even though I'm like just take Travis Hunter or Will Johnson. Don't be stupid, right? If you're at 1 or 2 and you don't want a quarterback, just take Will Johnson. If you don't want Travis Hunter, take Mason Graham. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like trading out of 1 or 2. Like,
but you'll get one of those 3 though if you stay in the top 7. If you stay in the top 7, you probably will get one of those 3 players. Yes.
With this draft, I want to see how this draft goes because I'm telling you, everybody's top 10 has no quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, I still think one. I don't think this is the Kenny Pickett year. I don't think this class is Kenny Pickett bad, and that's the last time we saw the quarterback slide.
I still think a quarterback goes really high in the top 5. I think that they maybe both do, but
yeah,
I still think we might see a point maybe where we're talking about the defensive players a lot more, and this draft might be a lot more boring for people. I think Shedeur Sanders coming out is big for draft media. in my opinion, because if he wasn't coming out and his like star presence, I don't think, man, they would be done. Because I go to the combine, man. Nobody goes to defense.
Watch out for Aller. Aller's gonna have a crazy combine.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a crazy combine. And he's got two play. He's the only quarterback that has the 2 playoff games really that's coming out that could actually improve his stock, I think, right? Like Ewers is probably coming back to Texas, or not to Texas, but staying in school. So Aller's got SMU and then Boise State. They have a pretty quick path. And if he tears up both those teams, Drew Aller is going to be the winner of the class, the winner. So watch out. He's got a big arm. Big arm, and can move around. That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
He's not that guy. His film is not that good. And Penn State is one of the worst teams to watch, like on offense. So I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but watch out for him too.
Yeah. Is Pierce getting fired? I mean, we'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that
in a second. What do you think? We just kind of talked about that. What do you think of Sam Darnold's next QB?
I gave my take. That's how bad this class is that I'm thinking about it right now.
I saw the sack rate and I'm like, no.
That's bad. And I've seen it. I've seen it in action where I'm like, throw the damn ball. Yeah, what are you doing?
Like you're not even Justin Fields though. Like if you were Justin Fields and you were like running for like 50 yards, like bro, you don't even move that much.
Yeah, it would drive me insane. Like I said, hey, if the Niner fans want to get rid of Kyle Shanahan, I'll take Shanahan and Darnold though.
That would be hilarious.
They hate him. I'm telling you, they hate him right now.
Yes, please fire Kyle. I think as Raiders fans, we should start a hashtag fire Kyle. I think.
I'm telling you, and Niner fans are spoiled. They're spoiled. They're a spoiled bunch. They went from Young to Montana, Walsh to Seifert. They're used to. They don't remember Jim Tomsula, Jim Kelly, Cody Pickett, Jim Druckenmiller. They don't remember those guys.
Yeah,
they don't remember those guys.
Fire Kyle. Hashtag
fire Kyle. Yeah, keep John. Fire Kyle, because
exactly.
I don't want John Lynch.
I don't want John Lynch, but yeah, fire Kyle.
Fire Kyle. Kyle Shanahan to let's go. I'm in. Yeah,
for real. Because we literally could bring in Darnold. Like, do it.
I would do it.
But to in Shanahan, I would draft Sanders at that point. I would. To be honest, I think he can make a work with him.
That would be sick. But I would also understand if he went veteran and then they just kind of traded back, got some top pick, got some of these top guys, traded back a couple spots. Let somebody go get that. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
All right. Would you resign Hobbs? Not over Trayvon Moorick. Let's say that. But sure, why not?
Well, Hobbs, we have to start talking about his injury history. Like it's fine on his rookie deal. But when he's probably gonna make 10, 11 million a year, I think, as on free agency for 4 years. I don't think I wouldn't hate it, but man, he's really been missing some time. And I don't know. Unless they're just kind of being careful with him because they stink right now, and maybe he could play.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Merrick, I would do it now. To be honest, just do it now.
He looks really good. Is winning more than to have. Is win one more maybe blessing, as they can't take Sanders' award and take Graham or Will Johnson. I mean, to be honest, if they don't take quarterback, they can get a really good defensive player. That's all I know about.
Yeah, and they might try to trade up too, because we'll see. Mark Davis might just make them trade up.
Yeah,
that's when I start getting real mad.
Yeah, because I really think he's going to make him take a quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
really feel like that's happening.
And we'll see what Brady's influence is. So
yeah. QBs are mid. Who's going to pay a lot to trade up? I don't know, man.
Somebody will. The media right now is pissing everybody. The media is insane. Like you're seeing how quick the coaching carousel is, and GMs don't have that long of a shelf life either. Like there are people that need to get a QB in the building quick to put their name to.
Yeah. O-line development. Can you talk about O-line development? Yeah. The O-line looks. This game they didn't handle blitz as well, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
They didn't handle that well. They didn't. The Bucs were really beating up on those young dudes. Let's say that. But I think they're going to take some bumps, but I think when we get into like year 2 of these guys taken together, they played all these games. I think you bring them all back, right, as a starting group.
For sure.
Even Dylan Parham. So I think Dylan Parham played really well before he got injured. Since he's been injured, he's been a lot up and down. But before he was injured, he was lights out. And I think if you bring all those guys back with some continuity, I think they have a nice group, to be honest.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Let's bring those guys back. All right, let's get into Mark Davis's comments. So, get into what we're talking about today. So, Mark Davis made some comments about Tom Brady and Antonio Pierce, right? Mark Davis speaks, it becomes 800 articles. So, of course, he says, I want Tom to have a huge voice, right? And with picking the next quarterback, no question about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of building the infrastructure of the organization. There's not a catch or a manager, somebody that can oversee the whole picture. And I believe Tom in time will be that person that can do it. So it's really like, is Tom like, let's say, because John Elway, the full GM, he was like more of the president, right? Or he's the GM too.
I thought he was the No, it was some kind of he was like his fingerprints were over all the picks from what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He was kind of basic. Yeah. He was the GM, executive VP. So Tom Brady's not that yet, right?
Yeah,
But
I don't want him to be either. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But he is basically what I would say, the president of this team, right? And I know there's a woman president, so don't get me whatever. But I think he is like what I would say, the overseer of what they're going to do in the draft, because that's basically what Mark is saying. In my opinion, like even in that comment, like he would have a huge voice of who they're taking at quarterback, or who they're taking early, or who's going to be the next head coach. Is Pierce going to get fired? We should read his comments about Pierce getting fired. He said, I'm very disappointed, obviously. I want to see progress. There's no excuses. We have injuries and all of those things, but your team has to figure out how to get around those.
Yeah.
All right. If there's going to be a finger pointed, it should be at me, because again, I'm the one who's hiring the people.
Damn.
I'm sorry. That's kind of brutal a little bit. Who make the decisions on the field at this point? Obviously, we're not happy. We have to go through the season, and then we'll reevaluate.
Sounds like he's mad he got hoodwinked in the offseason. Yeah, he's mad at Max Crosby for banging the table, mad at Devontae Adams, who he had to, see go away, and all these people who said Pierre. I mean, hey, I'm not absolving myself of liability. I said the same thing. Like, yeah, bring him back, sure, but I get it. I mean, you're paying if you fire Pierce, which a lot of people think so. I'm not quite there yet, but if you fire Pierce, that's 3 coaches you with the Gruden payout, Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce. You're paying that while your team is just awful, and you start wondering, like, can I pick the right guy? What do I do? And that to me is the Brady thing, is like, well, let me go find the best player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll help me. Mark is really reductive in thinking sometimes, and it's really annoying. He's like, well, if I find my favorite person ever, he'll save this for me, John Gruden.
Gruden.
Mike Mayo. He was great on TV. That he knows everything. And then bring him in. He's kind of reductive in that point. So let's just hope he struck gold with Brady, because if he didn't, then we're just going to be having this conversation every other year, really, after a failed coach, failed quarterback combination. And it's just, people are saying Gruden I'm saying he trusted Gruden. Mm-hmm. He gave Gruden the keys. He said, Gruden, you run my organization. Yeah. I don't want to think about football. Gruden, you pick the players you do. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. I like John Gruden, the coach, but John Gruden, the personnel guy, is horrible. So what I'm saying was Mark was like, I need to just go in my Rolodex, people that I know and trust, people I've seen on TV that are great. He hires them, he brings them in, and goes, okay, sweet. Now I can just chill. Organization is a good hand. It's terrible. It's terrible. So Richard Seymour, I expect to be involved too. All these guys, this is a huge offseason for them, and we'll see what they do with Pierce.
Yeah, I don't know. Those were not some good comments, in my opinion. I think I never really read that in full like this. That was kind of brutal. You know what I mean? Like, but your team has to figure out how to get around those issues, right? And then I'm the one who's hiring the people. who make the decisions on the field. I feel like I don't know. If I was Antonio Pierce, I would take that a little personal.
Mm-hmm.
So just those comments altogether coming from your boss. You think about it. He is the boss, man.
Right.
And even if you look at what Mark Davis is saying, which I think is pretty good because he just has a little bit of self-awareness that he's been picking terrible people, which I appreciate that. I do really do, Mark. Yes, you have. You've been picking terrible, awful coaches, bad GMs. The best GM you picked was Reggie McKenzie, who, McKenzie had a great draft in 2014, and then it just kind of was great talent he drafted. Just didn't work out for the Raiders because they all played for like 11 years. And I feel like every guy he drafted played for like 10 years or is still playing.
Yeah, more or less.
Every single one.
He found starters. I don't know how impactful a lot of them were, but he found guys that made football teams elsewhere.
For a while.
That is what he did. He found those guys. But yeah, with Mark, I will say there's always a chance with Mark Davis because he's not Mike Brown, who won't pay anybody. He's not the Mara family, or you hear people talk about the Bears. They just like are run by fail son, like Kendall Roy types, or like, that just don't like care about football and stuff that much. And they kind of just want to go on autopilot and not like Mark is at least, I think Mark wants to win football games. Like he actually really, really wants to win. And that kind of sucks, that he wants to win so bad and he can't figure out a way to even get close to it. That's its own problem. But I'm like, people are always like, well, you can't keep firing coaches. I'm like, all right, but Pierce showed you nothing this year. Like that, like nothing. There is no thing that, and they keep saying, well, the team's playing hard. It's like, it's the same loss every week, though. They come out playing hard. In the second half, they buckle and they just look horrible. They look dejected. The defense looks like they just give up, in the third quarter. And that is not a team like playing hard for like their coach, in my opinion. I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. And that's just not, Pierce has shown you nothing. You can't keep people that show you nothing, like they just show you that maybe they just found lightning in a bottle, and you don't always hire the interim coach.
Yeah. And that's the situation we're at. But I just can't get over those comments. I feel like that is basically set in stone because, man, that comment was brutal. Just him even having a self-reflection, in my opinion, is what ended it for me. Like him, like, I hired these guys. So whose fault really is it? It's not really anybody else's fault of why the Raiders suck. It's really my fault because I hired these shitty coaches. Like, you gotta fire him at this point. Like, so, we'll see what happens at the end of the season, but yeah, man. To me, with how this team is, I just don't feel like this team should be 2-11.
Yeah, it's underperforming so much. I mean, yeah, let's say they're a 6-win team, in my opinion. They're probably a 6-win team.
6-5. You know what I mean? Like,
bad, but like could beat you at here and there. Bad, not this laughing stock. And to be fair, like a lot of people I talk to that aren't Raider fans, they just go like, yeah, they just have like no quarterback. Like that's really like what they say. So it's not this other times where they're like, man, you guys have like no talent, because everybody knows Brock Bowers is good. So they're like, oh, well, you guys have him, and all that. So I don't, I like that Mark said it because we all think it. It shows that he's not just this, well, I bring in the people and we've just, we're almost there, guys, and he's not, blowing smoke up our ass. But when do you make the hire? When do you make the right hire? Like at some point you have to, and maybe that's what he's doing. My theory is that is what he's doing, is he's handing the keys over to Tom Brady. By saying that is he's like, Tom's in charge of football personnel.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Like he's saying, I hired these guys. I stink at doing it. Obviously, I haven't done a good job since my father died, and not that Al was doing a great job in the last 10 years either. But he's like, I hire these guys. I stink. Here, let me pass the controller to Tom, and see what he can do. It's got to be better than me. And we'll see if that's how it shakes out. But I anticipate it's going to be Tom and Tom in the offseason. Telesco and Brady.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing with Tom Brady, too, is like is he going to watch the Raiders on film in the offseason? Because he can't really right now, because every time he calls the Fox game at 2:00 or my time, 1:00, right? He always calls that late Fox game. The Raiders usually play at like 1:00.
Yeah.
Pacific, right? How much of the Raiders is he watching right now? Is he to be watching them? I mean, I'm sure he's a super, he probably loves to watch film and deep dive into it. But like, how quick is this going to be, rev up for him during the offseason? You know what I mean? Is he even watching the Raiders that deep? Like, it's just an interesting thought process that he's going to come in and just pick apart this offense, like just know exactly what to do. Like, I don't know. He's calling the Rams versus Bills.
Yeah, Tom's good.
A+ throw. That was
Yeah.
an 8. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, Tom's gonna have his iPad down in like February. He's like, I finally have some time to watch the Raiders, and he's like, what in the fuck? Oh my god, what? Did I buy that? He's like looking for the receipt under the couch. Do you still have the receipt for the Raiders? No, but to the credit, he might go and look and go, I watched Josh Allen battle Matthew Stafford and stuff, and I watched this quarterback battle, this Jordan Love battle, these guys. We got to get this going. I think it's Tom Telesco, but I think Brady and Telesco are going to be the guys interviewing head coaches if they go that route. I think you're going to have Tom Brady at the combine, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to call games during the offseason. So
that's true. I mean, they don't even let him like do like all the deep diving that they're supposed to do before games. He just calls them like on the fly, which is what it is. But I don't know if he's watching Raiders games in between that. You know what I mean?
No, hell no.
Like,
yeah,
exactly.
He's like,
he's not
watch that for.
Exactly.
He might just download the all 22 and watch it in the hotel room. Like he does
maybe
that type of guy. Like,
maybe. All right. Let's get some of these questions with the next topic. What about Vikings OC as head coach? Wade Phillips, son. He's the OC. Huh? Is he the OC of the Vikings?
I didn't even know that. This is the first time hearing of this. To me, Kevin O'Connell is running the show.
Oh yeah, he is. But Wes Phillips.
He's an offensive coordinator. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about him. Is he calling plays out there?
Of course not. He's not calling them.
So right there off the bat, no. I would, that's one where you could offer, do you want to come over here and call plays?
Yeah.
Like I say, do you want to be my offensive coordinator and you call plays out here? Depends on what the Raiders do at head coach. They might hire an offensive head coach that wants to call plays, but
does he bring Wade Phillips to coach defense?
I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No, the last years of with the Rams, they needed Brandon Staley came in and fixed the Rams defense, not Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips was his. Yeah, obviously with the Broncos it was great. Early with the Rams it was great, but it was just it kind of fades away after a while. He's got like a little Kingsbury effect sometimes.
He does. You have a 3-year run with Wade Phillips.
Yeah.
By year 3, he's getting picked apart.
And you need to have Von Miller or Aaron Donald.
I mean, they have Max Crosby, Doc.
That is true.
I don't know.
Forgot about him.
He is an XFL champion, right?
That's true.
He's an XFL champion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't be like against that. Like if they went out there and tried to hire some random OC and they hired Wes Phillips and they brought Wade Phillips with him, I would think I wouldn't be like upset with that. But you're right. We'd have to get rid of him by like year 2 because this always happens with his defenses. Always.
Yeah, and how old is he, dude? Like,
yeah. I mean, he's old.
He's been around for a long time. He was on like one of the old school Hard Knocks, dude. Like,
he was coaching like the Broncos when I was like 7.
yeah. He's been around forever, man. Like he's, man.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. Can Carter Bradley throw as far as Trey Tucker can run? I mean, probably, but I don't know. Bradley's not playing. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
They'd have to lose they'd have to. He might play like week 18 against the Chargers. Let's say that. Is there a tape of AP so we could be done with them?
I mean, I don't think so, but
you never know.
Yeah, I mean,
he did take ASU players a pink rhino. You just never know.
Yeah. Being in New York, he was in New York for a while during like Diddy's heyday.
Yeah, I mean he was, man.
Interesting. Yeah. You just see AP in a vote or die shirt, and you're like, oh no, it's a bottle of Ciroc.
It might be out there, dog. I mean, because he was out. I mean, the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sure Diddy had a nice little Super Bowl party when they went in 2007.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You never know. You really don't.
Yeah.
All right, is Mike Vrabel coming in? There's a chance, but
he said from what on Raider Nation Radio, there were reports saying that he's not interested in the job, which I'm not sure about that yet, but I don't know.
If anybody could talk him into taking the radio job, it's Tom. They're like best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's not. You know, he just wants to. Yeah, pay me $30 million. This is what he's saying. How much do you want, Mike?
Yeah,
is basically what he's saying. I'm not interested. How about for $10 million? All right, I'm a Raiders coach. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Shut up, dog. I don't want to hear you. I'm not interested. Is anybody interested in you? You didn't get a job this year. You know what I mean?
No, and you know what I think is an interesting thing you can do is, fans are already going to hate this, but like, let's say Pierce stays. Let's say he does. Let's just say for some reason Pierce stays. What I do if I'm Tom Brady is I go, hey, I'd love to have a defensive assistant guy and a guy named Mike Vrabel. That's what he's doing with Cleveland right now. Is just I would just offer him the same job over here, but they'd be like, hey, we might fire this dude 3 games into the season.
Yeah.
You'd be the next coach, just get him on the staff kind of thing. Like you're, assistant to the regional,
DC, right?
Assistant to the regional manager type shit, just some little Dwight Schrute job, just something like that.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just feel like Brady, if anybody could talk him into being a coach, if Brady's that involved, he could talk him into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's before we do this, let's get. I'm gonna skip Abe Cotton not playing because I mean, is it Desmond Ritter? Is it Aiden O'Connor? Who really cares about this point?
Man, everybody thinks everyone's in a Diddy party in the comments. Like, what about this guy? First off, don't act like you would have turned down an invitation in 2009. Anybody in the chat, we all would have said yes. We would have been like, "Whoa, I didn't realize that's what this was." Yeah,
like whoa.
My fault. Yeah. Thought it was all about the Benjamins.
You know what I mean? Like,
I am not a bad boy for life.
Exactly. Everybody would have went to Diddy party.
100%, dude. I've gone to stupid all ages rap shows, dude. Like, come on, I would never. I'd go to one and be like, gross, and walk away.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely leave at 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? I'm tired, man.
Yeah, and like, let's be real. Like, there's probably they probably got their regular guests and then like VIP platinum guests where the real shit goes down. Like, they ain't like, we're not getting in. We're in the. Like they're like, you guys just chilling by the bar, dude.
We're at the bar, the backyard bar. You know what I'm saying? Chill at the backyard of the mansion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can't really get in. You can't really get in upstairs where everything's happening.
You may not have the door code. You may not have the door code to upstairs.
Yeah, you don't know the password, bro. You don't know the password.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The secret handshake or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Damn, dude. Marcus rolled up to the Diddy party, said, "Everybody, we are back." God, I hope they're never 2-11 ever again. This is where we're at. This is bad. This is bad. There's nothing like just what. Do you want to talk about? Who's playing corner? Thomas Harper. Let's talk about Thomas Harper instead. Talking about him.
Yeah, Thomas Harper, man, he's really playing well. He's really coming in and playing safety, man. Really
Darnay Holmes, love him. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one, dude.
All right. Let's gather ourselves here. All right. Last question, and then we're gonna get to this QB stats. Why does everyone have a problem with the job Telesco stuff?
I don't get it, dude.
Good question.
I think it's dumb. I think they're blaming him for Wilkins getting hurt. It's like, that was a good signing. It was a good signing.
Yeah, because we have the same question here. What do you guys think about Telesco? Do you think it's a great GM? So kind of same question.
Great. I wouldn't use great yet. I would not say great yet. I would say he didn't do enough to get people want to fire him for his sins with the Chargers, coupled with not having the coolest best free agency. But they obviously saved 30 mil for something because like maybe they just realized they sucked.
Yeah.
That's kind of that was kind of the tell when they just left 30 million of reserve space. Where I'm like, okay, if you thought you were really going to make a run this year, you would have spent that.
Yeah, yeah. Telesco's problem is always will be depth,
For sure.
and this team has no depth. Let's get it real. You know what I mean? We got Lalalu, who has actually played pretty well.
Playing pretty good.
He's playing pretty well.
Chase on.
He just likes this thing of like of my backup being a fourth rounder.
Yeah.
Like I just don't feel like that's the right way to go.
No.
I mean, it's like this throw him out to the wolves development. Like maybe that works. Like Damian Richardson is on the field because Jacorian Bennett went down. Just think about that. It's not like I'm trying to think of some like wash corner. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe it should probably be like a wash corner.
Right. Veteran who's played.
We're throwing a young fourth round rookie out there and just like he's getting cooked.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You got a 7th round guy from the Colts that you picked up. He's playing defensive tackle, right? There's no other really defensive tackle behind him. You know what I'm saying? It's more things like that with Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco, for some reason, loves to throw a 7th round pick out there and make him the second guy on the team. And I don't think that's the right way to do it. That's my biggest thing. Even if you go look at the Chargers, that's always the Chargers' problem. Somebody get hurt, they got some rookie out there. Jelani Woods trying to play safety. You know what I'm saying? So just those type of things with him. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So it's depth with me. Like you can't depend on your draft picks to go out there and play well.
Yeah, and you hired Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley.
That is very true.
It's also just those.
They did make the playoffs. They go 12-4.
They did 1 year. They had that year for sure. They did, but those are not good hires. Like those are guys who nobody else was jumping on after they got fired.
Yeah. All right. Would you prefer an offensive or defense head coach? I don't know.
Offensive, but don't just hire an offensive one for the reason. Like everyone's always like, well, you never have to replace your play caller, right? Like the guy who's calling plays. Like don't just hire someone because of that, though. To me, if the best guy that you see, leader of men, we're seeing right now the difference between good coaches and leaders of men with the Tomlins, the Harbaughs, guys like that are leaders of men that aren't necessarily calling plays or doing anything like that. You got to go get somebody like that. It's tough to do, but Jesse Minter, these guys like that who might be underneath those guys that might be able to learn from there. I wouldn't just hire the hot play caller. That's what Al Davis did with Lane Kiffin back in the day. Oh, the hot play caller, Lane Kiffin. Woo, bring him in. Sucked. So
I mean, you're right about that. You are
best coach available. Like, do your due diligence. Like, get a guy from a winning program that's doing a good job. Maybe not with the best personnel, and interview him. Does he interview well? I was listening to Gruden on Barstool because all his Barstool content is so good. Yeah. And Gruden's not the best coach of all time. He's not. But you immediately understand what it's like when somebody has like aura as a coach. And you're like, damn. Like a compliment from him is like so crazy. When you see he was complimenting a dude on Barstool's high school highlights. He was like, that's a tackle right there, man. He's like, yeah. And then you're just like, damn, dude, I would literally like want to hear that all the time. I would do my best. I would fight my hardest to hear that from that guy. And I just haven't seen that with the Raiders lately. They haven't brought in people that like, who cares about a Josh McDaniels compliment, And then AP is the only guy who might give you the compliment. We just haven't seen anything else. So it's just, man.
He really is, to be honest, it's just a head coach. I don't know. This is a high school, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We look really amateurish right now.
We do. All right, let's get to these quarterback numbers and we'll get back to these questions here, guys. Even though this is so you don't hire Sark. That would be hilarious, actually. Yeah,
Sark kind of cooks though, man. I will say.
he's not bad.
He's he's a play caller. He kind of cooks. I like what Texas does, man.
He wasn't bad with the Falcons either. He wasn't.
No,
He wasn't. They got to the playoff. They had a pretty good offense. If Julio Jones catches that ball against the Eagles,
yeah,
we'll see. All right, let's get these quarterbacks numbers. All right, so Brett Coleman did a tweet. I don't know if you guys, probably some people saw this Brett Coleman tweet talk about these stats of these quarterbacks, and we kind of just want to look at it, talk about it a little bit before we get into these odds and bets here. So basically, it's designed here. So the amount of screens, amount of RPOs, amount of play action they do, and then their plays without RPOs, play actions, and screens. Okay. So you see here, let's just start up here. We got Shedeur Sanders, 22% screens, which is, he does throw the film. There's a lot of screens. There is a lot of screens. 15% RPOs. I still think that PFF has a problem with deciphering what RPO is and what a screen isn't. That's just my personal opinion.
And how do you do that with the O-line movement?
Yeah, basically, that's kind of how you would decide that. That's what I'm saying. It'd be, I don't know how much they get it right. We're trusting some kid that's doing this like at 10 o'clock at night, and he's sweating. He's been watching games all night, and his eyes are, who knows what's going on there, right? Mm-hmm. We're trusting that kid, and I don't know. It's just my opinion. Now Aller, right? We had Drew Aller. He doesn't throw a lot of screens. No RPOs, no screens here.
No, they could stand to run a couple there because they have some good athletes and they don't. That explains a lot.
Yeah. JP Tim Cody, no dart. I mean, I don't know. Jackson Dart. I don't know.
Dude, Jackson Dart is not good. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't. Did anyone watch that Florida game? He was horrible. He had like six chances to win that game, and he threw like triple coverage picks. I'm like, no. And he's not. He's short too. So no.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore Milroe and Nuss because I think they're gonna come back. Quinn's coming back, so we're sticking to these guys. Right, we're not gonna just ignore the bottom of this. Right. All right. So Aller does a lot of play action though. He does a lot of play action, but no RPOs, no screens. Okay. Ward does a lot of screens. He does do a lot of RPOs, a lot of play action. Okay,
mm-hmm, they do.
Right, and then Beck. Georgia does a lot of. It's college football. There's a lot of screens.
Right.
RPOs, not so much. A lot of play action. Okay, so without these numbers, okay. Let's start with Sanders. So Sanders has 312 attempts. Good adjusted completion percentage. Pretty good. This is full field. 9.3 yards, 108 rating, 21-6 ratio. Big time plays looks at about 6.7. Right? That's all right. He doesn't turn the ball over at all. Overall, right? And then 31 sacks taken, but a 3.47 time to throw. Okay. So let's stick there. Big SC does ask a question. Does Beck declare? I don't know. We'll see. Does Aller declare? We're so.
Do you want to come out next year if the class is more loaded? Like, I don't know that I do.
Yeah.
Like, some guys might expedite the process. Like, if I'm Aller, I come out this year. Like just because next year I think you get lost in it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, with Beck too, all it takes, guys, is Beck to have a good playoff. We're in trouble.
Is he going to play?
I don't know. That's the thing. We'll see. But if he does, I think he will. I think he's not a wimp. So I think he's going to try. Even if he can't play, he's going to try.
That arm got torn up in that play. I wouldn't call him a wimp. Jeez. If he didn't play. Woo.
I don't know. You're right about that. But okay. So Sanders and then 10-19. It's a little different. It's pretty good. Good. Like I said, he's great on dig routes, so good completion percentage. YPA, pretty decent rating, but a 5-4 interception ratio, right? So basically, all his interceptions are intermediate. He has a turnover worthy play rate of 4.2, and he has a 3.54 time to throw, 20 yards. Probably he has the lowest amount of any of these guys, right? Everybody talks about Aller doesn't throw deep, but Sanders throws deep less than he does.
Mm-hmm.
And YPA is pretty good there, so it's efficient. 128.6. Did throw 9 touchdowns over 20 plus yards. So a really high big time throw rate, 3.72 yards per time to throw. So the thing is with Sanders is he just holds the ball really, 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 really
That's
long.
a long time. 3.72. Yeah, I that's my pet peeve with quarterbacks too. I've noticed it too. It's like you just gotta make. That's the problem if you do pair him with let's say a West Coast offense guy, right? Like
Yeah.
which is where I'd like to see him with arm strength wise. All those guys, the classic, McVay, Shanahan, Gruden, like West Coast guys, they're gonna be like, throw the fucking ball, Shador throwing the clipboard on the ground, like in his face, and because I mean, where's the lie? You got to get rid of that ball with it. That's the problem with Shador is he holds the ball too long for somebody that doesn't have that good of an arm.
100%. That's my whole thing. Because basically, to me, in my opinion, why he's holding the ball so long is because he's late.
He's not seeing it.
He's late. Yeah. It's more, he like waits. He is, what's the word that JT Sullivan uses it? He's like he has to see it open.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't anticipate it open. And that was my problem in the Cincinnati game, is that like there's a lot of throws where if he threw it on time or with velocity or those type of things, that Sanders could have made a play. But the thing is like, I don't know if he's being coached to do those things or just Deion Sanders just like, you're my son, you're amazing, have this kind of funky drop. Is an NFL coach going to be like, no, you need to drop like this, make sure your feet are here and throw the ball quickly? Is he going to? That's the thing with Sanders. Like, can he be coached up to where he's just not like playing this kind of what I would say, my dad is the coach football? Because that's really what I watch when I watch him at this point, is like he plays like his dad's the coach. And that's my thing is can he do that? Can I get him where, because if he has his feet set and he gets his feet pointed, his mechanics right, which he does have good mechanics when he wants to. So if he can get his mechanics right, he can get some more velocity in the ball than he usually gets. But he's just, you know what I'm saying? He's just, I don't know. That's my thing with him. He's got to rush his process. So we'll see with him though.
Yeah. No, I'm. It's just, again, we're like number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I like. If they were picking, 18th, 19th, had some pieces on the team that you really want. I mean, I think they have pieces. I think they have pieces on offense. So I don't want to hate too hard, but
yeah,
if they were playing like slightly more winning football, and then Sanders falls to you in the first round, yeah, okay, sure, you could talk me into that. Then you have maybe you don't start him right away. You let him get yelled at in camp for a little bit, about getting rid of that football. Bo Nix figured it out. But Bo Nix, he kind of almost overcorrected into getting rid of the ball so fast. But Bo Nix used to hold the ball forever when he was at Auburn. Yeah. And I think Sanders would have to start kind of going that route a little bit, the Bo Nix route. But, is he going to do it? I don't know. There's just so many questions about these guys.
Yeah, because that's all my thing is just when you watch him, you could tell that his dad is like, you are the greatest in the world, and he's just out there doing what he wants to do. To be honest,
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know.
Aller is really interesting. His numbers are really interesting. Because I let's go ahead. Do your Aller.
All right, so Aller, this is just with no RPOs, play action or screens. Only has 217 attempts. Of course, they don't throw the ball a lot over there. He has 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, right? Big time throw rate is the lowest out of all this whole group, right? So you think about it in that way. That means he's not really pushing the ball downfield. Okay. I think, only person has less attempts, 10 plus yards than him is Sanders. So, when people say that Aller doesn't push the ball downfield, you can't say that Sanders does. Okay. All right.
And Aller has a cannon. So,
Yeah.
like, at least, like, if that's what he's asked to do in the NFL, the ball will get there.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So, like, regardless of what they're doing in college, that's my problem with Sanders a little bit is like, well, okay, but I would need you to hit this throw. Can you do it? And then Aller, it's like, okay, there's questions. Nobody's perfect. Nobody does. No, it's not a guarantee. Aller can still rip it down the field if he needs to.
Yeah. And then 10 to 19 range, like I said, is very low. I mean, I think the completion percentage is something you could be like, right, a little bit. I think in college, there's so many guys, especially when you're at Penn State, you should have more than 60%, 10 to 19. And you can see his rating. He's thrown 3 picks there, but he has a really high turnover worthy play rate,
right?
But he doesn't take a lot of sacks. So the thing is like when I watch Aller is like he's very inaccurate. I think that's one thing you should point out. And I think a lot of people when they deep dive into him kind of get into like, yeah, he's big, he can throw, he can move. But I feel like against Oregon last week, there's this throw where I don't know if you watched that game, Glenn.
I didn't. I've seen the highlights, but I haven't seen the lowlights. So
yeah,
tell me about it.
Yeah. So Tyler Warren is like wide open on this perfect play call. They kind of set it up where like Penn State does that stupid shit where they do like lineman on the other side. They did that shit, and they had Tyler Warren wide open, and he just completely missed him, right? With like he like no touch on the throw. So I think there's a lot to work on with him.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some upside there, but you got to have some great coaching, right? I mean, we got to have like, we got to have that defense that Sean McDermott has. Like Sean McDermott had the defense to build Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen could run around, do stupid shit, and do all that stuff that he used to do. But now, he's more reserved. He still does stupid shit every once in a while, but he's still more reserved now. But he had the defense to kind of build with him to do that. Also, the Bills made the playoffs the year before, which nobody really talks about a lot.
Yeah, and they traded up for Josh Allen.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, so there's a lot there that would too, but I don't know. Aller has the talent, but I don't know, man. I'd have to do some. I'm gonna do some deep dive into him a little bit.
Yeah, because my plan if I draft Drew Aller, and who knows how high he goes, like, does he end up going number 1 overall? I'm saying you have to think about it. You have to think about it. We'll see. I think he's going to light up the combine. He has the opportunity of having 2 more games. I think they're going to dump on SMU. So whether he's the cause of that or not, I think they're gonna beat SMU, and then they're gonna play Boise State round 2. And if he has 2 big games there and shows that he quote unquote is a winner in a program with James Franklin who doesn't win any big games, he's going number 1 overall. I'm just letting everybody know that because he's 240 pounds. He's big. He's strong. He's fast, has a big arm. And what I do is I do go to that free agency route. Whether it's, maybe you decide O'Connell's the guy you want to do it, but like maybe you go the free agency route, and I don't rush it with him.
Yeah.
I don't rush it. I have a plan. You have to basically treat him like he's Josh Allen. Josh Allen did play kind of early, but I think was it Taylor? I can't remember who was there before with Allen, but was it EJ Man? It wasn't EJ Manuel, I don't think, but
Tyrod Taylor.
It was Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
But you had Dayball working with him, and you need to go find that style of guy. I mean, maybe it's Brian Dayball, but you go find that style of guy to work with Aller, because my thing with the Raiders is you have to make this work. Well, whoever you draft, you have to have a plan. You have to have an upside that you think you can reach with tangible stuff like arm strength, quick release, which that's the 2 things I see with Aller out of those stats: arm strength and quick release.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things he has. Accuracy might not be there. It might not be there. And that's the scary part. That's why I give him some time. Him some time. Mm-hmm.
All right. But like I said, he still has to just on full field reads. He can throw the ball short, which I think that's a big. I think that in the NFL at this point, where there's a lot of short passes and we don't see a lot of deep passes right now, teams are playing too high. I think if you could throw some short passes, we can work on the rest of this.
And look, you talked about him missing Tyler Warren. He's hit Tyler Warren a lot, and we have a Tyler Warren. We have a better version, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Number 89, if you've ever heard of him, Brock Bowers. So I like the way the team's composed for him a little bit. He could hit Trey Tucker. I want a big arm. I like Cam Ward. You'll have to talk me into. If you can talk me into Cam Ward, I'm in. Though I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. So let's look at Cam Ward here. So full field, 304 attempts, 71 adjusted completion percentage, 9.9 YPA, just overall 110 passer rating. So he has the highest passer rating of all these guys. Okay. 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, right? A pretty good. He has the highest big throw rate.
Oh yeah.
He also has of course Carson Beck is in this, but he has a 4.0 turnover worthy play rate. He doesn't have as many sacks taken as Shedeur Sanders, which I think is super interesting. Just because when you think about how they're talked about.
Yeah.
And his time to throw is lower.
That is a bit of a shock to me. I'll say that much.
So when you got Sanders, Ward, Aller. You kind of look at this profile overall, like even 10 to 19. I guess you look at the turnover worthy play rate, right? It's probably the high. It's right around Aller's. I mean, Carson Beck is crazy, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah.
Right. But he doesn't hold the ball as long as Shedeur Sanders does on those throws. And you got to think about how Cam Ward is a playmaker, right? Shedeur Sanders is not a playmaker.
Yeah.
So when you look at these timed throws with Cam Ward, it's like it makes sense because Cam Ward holds the ball too long and maybe he runs around and tries to do something crazy or stupid. Shedeur Sanders, it doesn't make any sense because he's supposed to be the pocket passer. He's supposed to be like the guy who gets rid of the ball quick. He's supposed to be that type of guy. Isaiah says Shedeur is a playmaker, but he's not a playmaker like Cam Ward is like a Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? Like that type of scramble guy. You know what I mean? So when you look at Cam Ward's profile, what do you think? What are you looking at?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's nice to see that the time to throw. To me, I guess it's more the style. It's not so much the time; it's just the style. It's like he lets defenders get an inch away from him before he throws, and I call BS on that, like awareness, where you're talking about in the NFL. Yeah, the ACC, it's a real conference, obviously.
Yeah.
Like you get edge rushers there that work, that get after you. But I hate speeding people up. I hate how I just hate how relaxed it is. Shedeur holds the ball forever, but it looks like he's like working to buy time, and he just can't a lot of times. Whereas Ward, it's just like, no, I have all day, But I don't know. With Ward, you'd want to get that Bruce Arians type offense. If you brought him in, you'd want to do that. The turnover worthy play, like he makes some stupid plays. Like if you watch Ward, it's just like
they're dumb. Yeah.
I mean, to me, okay, everybody's romanticizes Jameis Winston. Do you want to give Jameis Winston a long-term contract with his team right now? No, you don't. And Ward has a lot of that Jameis Winston to him. I think that like across the body, I don't care who's there. My guy's going to make a play. You don't understand. I have the presence of the Holy Spirit letting me throw this. It feels like the game is played that way with Ward, and that will result in some awesome throws. And everyone around the league is going to think he's phenomenal if you just watch the highlight throws. But I think he's going to frustrate the hell out of me if he's a Raider.
See, my thing with Sanders and Ward, and even with Aller, I think Ward, if you hit on him.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Right? It's going to be crazy. And I think his development from Washington State to Miami is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
I think at Washington State, these numbers are like 4 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't like him at Washington State.
Right? So these numbers are like 4 seconds at Washington State. So to see him kind of get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, I think he throws it with anticipation better than these quarterbacks. there's a lot of things I like about him that I could see him being a quarterback where you can develop, where eventually by like year 3 or 4, we're getting more of a pocket passer. And we've been dealing with these kind of stupid plays that have been exciting at times, but like still there'll be some ugly parts of it, but they kind of slow down over time. That's what I think with Cam Ward. Like year 1, you're gonna see some stupid shit, right? Year 2, you might see some less stupid shit, but year 3, we're seeing even less stupid shit, and that's what I think Cam Ward's development is. So that's why I would, if I was picking one at this point, and I'm still gonna watch more games and have a definite answer, but at this point, I would take Cam Ward just because I feel like he has that ability where if you do hit, and he does have the ability to just kind of just tone it down over years, you're going to be really excited about what he can do. So,
yeah, no, there is an upside level to Ward that does intrigue me, and if the Raiders make that pick, I'll definitely be like, but I will be able to see massive throws being made. Like, and you have Bowers already, you have Tucker, like there are some guys there, and perhaps you go spend some money at wide receiver, perhaps you go trade for somebody, and or to me, like, you draft somebody, maybe you go get Restrepo, in the 2nd or 3rd round, and from Miami, and go get his teammate or something. And to me, when you get Ward, you have to dedicate like everything to making it work. You have to you got to make it seem like, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like Baker Mayfield style stuff, where it's like, I got guys to throw to everywhere. My running backs can make plays. My wide receivers can make plays. We're going to hit you 6 or 7 times. We're going to, hit you with a haymaker a game. That's how we're going to beat you.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Carson Beck. His numbers are terrible. So
he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. I every time I watch him, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just, he could use another year. If I were him, I would just stay at Georgia. You're going to make $4 or $5 million staying at Georgia. What the hell's, why not? With the NIL, you're not risking a damn thing staying at Georgia if that's the case, because you're already hurt right now. You might as well stay. I think Georgia would be happy to have him another year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was the quarterbacks, guys. Like I said, because to me at this point, we're going deep into this playoffs. It really is like an Aller, Ward, Sanders type of draft, right?
Yeah. Well, so the big wild card is if the Raiders keep AP, because I'll tell you this right now, this is a boring conversation if the Raiders keep AP, because Shador is the quarterback of the Raiders next
year. Yeah, that's true.
Come on. It would be the only reason they'd keep him. It would be the only, like, if they're about to fire him, Mark Davis, he'd be like, yeah, but I'll get you Shador. Remember how cool Shador is? And Mark Davis would be like, all right, fine.
See, I would say, but Tom Brady could get Shador too. That's the thing.
That's what I mean. If it's Shador, AP, and if AP and Tom Brady are there, they're picking Shador Sanders at 1, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no conversation to be had. I don't see a scenario where if AP's back, they're not taking Ward or Aller. I don't think.
Yeah, I still think that they might take. I think that they want to take Shador too, just because all of it. I feel like that's why he's even doing the the East West Shrine game a little bit, because he's in Dallas, and it's just you go to Alabama, it's boring. There's really nothing to do except eat.
But watch out for Aller getting probably 2 playoff games to show what he's got.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. People forget about CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was probably a 1st-round pick, but tore up Georgia. And that was how he cemented himself in the top picks.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. All right, let's get to these odds and bets, man. We went long on this. We still got a lot of questions. So
but we don't have any college games to talk about today. So that's
that's true. All right, so let's get these odds and bets. Let's start off with who should I start off with? Because we ain't got no quarterbacks. So we start with Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers over under for this week, 6.5, 63.5, anytime touchdown plus 160.
I don't think the Falcons have anybody to cover him.
No, they don't. You can say Jesse Bates maybe, but I mean,
if you want to dedicate Jesse Bates to him all day, then the Raiders can do whatever they want elsewhere, in my opinion. So yeah.
Big CD said, "No love for Army versus Navy. You goddamn commies."
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. To be honest, it's not a bad game tomorrow. Those are two decent teams.
I mean, they're actually good teams.
Yeah.
All right, Brock Bowers. Go ahead, Glenn. What were you saying?
No, nothing.
All right. Yeah. So Brock Bowers 6.5, receiving yards 63.5, anytime touchdown plus 160. To me, in my opinion, I Brock Bowers, you always go over. So I mean,
Yeah,
and take the touchdown, right? I mean, at this point, I mean, he's the best. He's the best player in the offense.
I agree. So depending on who's starting at quarterback, I mean, either way, if you're Ritter or O'Connell, you know who the best receiver on the team is.
You got to throw to Brock.
Yeah, it's not like both guys. That's gonna be their first guy that they're looking to throw to. Both these guys are looking to stay quarterbacks in the league in the NFL. So you throw to 89, you could get some highlight tape going there. And I take the over on everything plus the anytime touchdown. I know he didn't hit it. I don't think he hit it last week because over.
No, he didn't.
That's all right. The Bucs dedicated everything to stopping him.
Yeah.
The Falcons, I just don't think have the horses to do it on defense.
Yeah, or the defensive coach. I mean,
true.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, take everything with Brock, in my opinion. I mean, Desmond Ridder did have a great throw to Brock against coverage 0 last week. I mean, it was a good throw. It was.
Yeah, and he hit him against. I remember, was it the Bengals or no? The
yeah.
He hit him for a touchdown. They got a little chemistry.
Yeah. Just, the fear is that Desmond Ridder's going to fumble 8 times. That's.
Well, he probably will, but you get garbage time for Bowers. That's. I mean,
yeah.
If you're down 3 scores, you're just peppering 89 all day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Which I got my other guy here because he might get peppered at. I got Michael Mayer in here this week because Michael Mayer had a good week.
You noticed last week how he was jumping and doing crazy shit. He's like, "Hey, you guys remember? I'm crazy." That was my favorite. He was jumping over anyone that tried to tackle him. He was like, "I am athletic." I was crying during that game.
Yeah, you got this picture right here, man. So Michael Mayer, he might be the ultimate garbage time pick for over unders. I
love it.
I might take both. I might take the 3 receptions. Some of these are Marcus Facebook Sportsbook. Sorry, I said Facebook. Marcus Sportsbook. I kind of just made this up.
You probably follow that on Facebook if you.
Yeah.
It's probably on there.
Exactly. All right. Receptions 3.5, receiving yards 25.5, anytime touchdown plus 450.
Oh, I love the receiving yards. 25. I could see him having 40 yards in this game. Just kind of. Yeah, he's good, man. He's a good player, and I'm glad this is the year he had whatever the hell happened. Happened. This is the year to do it. If you're gonna have some kind of breakdown, this is the year to do it because he would have made 0 difference in terms of wins and losses, in my opinion. Maybe one play here and there, maybe that could have been made, but he looked good last week. I thought he looked good. He stayed in shape, it seemed like, and I'd take over 25.5.
Yeah, I agree. I would take both of those for sure. All right, Sincere McCormick. This is also Marcus Sportsbook, except for anytime touchdown. The yards completely made up, but I think it's a good number because I think for some reason which is going to piss me off this week. I just have this feeling they're going to try to force Alex Madison down our throats.
Well, AP did say Sincere earned the starting touches.
I know. But I just feel like at some point, like instead of playing Amir Abdullah, they're going to try to force Madison down our throat. So,
I don't know. I think McCormick's the guy right now.
Okay.
I think he's the only guy that's generated. I mean, AP's like biggest thing was like we need to run the ball, and like they couldn't, and that's its own struggle. The fact that they treated Zamir White like a 4-time Pro Bowler. Oh, he'll get it going. Like, oh, will he now? McCormick, I'm starting him in fantasy this week. I don't want to, but Kenneth Walker is a pussy. And it's not. I don't know what it is. Every week it's something with him, and so I have to start Sincere McCormick. I'm not dealing with the Kenneth Walker playoff thing, so I hope all these overs hit, and I hope he gets a touchdown. I'll take the over 55.5.
Okay. All right. I do. I put it at that number because I do think he's gonna get the most carries, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like they like Alex Madison way too much. I just have a feeling.
Damn.
It bothers me a little bit, but it is what it is. Whatever. All right, Jacoby Myers. Receptions 5.5, receiving yards 2.5, anytime touchdown plus 160. What are you thinking?
Oh, let's see. Jacoby Myers. I like the over on receptions. I think he's definitely gonna. So, what is he gonna get the AJ Terrell treatment? I mean, who is our Atlanta's defensive backs? They're not. AJ Terrell's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. He's done better against better opponents.
Yeah.
And I like the anytime touchdown too. I like that. We'll see. With Ritter at quarterback, you just never really know. So maybe I'll stay away from anytime touchdown. But over 5.5 receptions look like the smartest one there.
Yeah, I mean, he had 7 receptions last week. I think he had what? What did he do the previous week? Yeah, he had like 8 or 9 the previous week. Him and Brett Bowers.
Yeah, he was good.
They are pretty good overs on receptions or yards or anything like that. I think that they're the main two guys who are getting the football. I think Michael Mayer got it a lot last week. I still think they might try to find different ways to get the ball to Brock this week. So Jacoby Myers is a good hit, especially over 5, like 6 receptions. Maybe the yards you might think about, because is it going to be like 6 for 50? Is it going to be like 6 for 70? That's what you have to worry about, in my opinion. But I think the over on receptions is pretty set. Receiving yards, that's what I'm a little iffy. Maybe you take the under, but anytime touchdown, yeah. I mean, why not? If the Raiders just got a touchdown, it might be Jacoby Myers.
What if Ritter just tosses like 5 touchdowns against his old teams? Like, you guys suck. Raiders.
Oh man, I mean, because then you have fans like, do we just keep Ritter, man? Maybe Ritter is it, man. Maybe Ritter.
He really didn't get a chance, dude, in Atlanta. Like, he just really didn't get a chance. And then like Arizona, like Kyler's struggling, so like they should have kept him.
Yeah, exactly. You know what happened if you threw 5 touchdowns? That was exactly.
Raiders Twitter would be out of control.
Just because think about how they talked about O'Connell after that game.
They lose 38-37. Yeah.
Everybody's ready to crown O'Connell, and I was like, wait a second. Let's see how his Mr. Inconsistent. Let's see how he finishes. And last week he didn't do very well.
Ritter's just like, I own this team. Like, yeah. I know this defense.
No, let it be like 5 total touchdowns, where it's like 3 passing, 2 rushing.
He just Michael Vick experience, like the commercial back in the day. He just in the open field making guys miss.
Yeah. Fans would be ready to just not draft.
Looks like Mo in Simpsons broadcast.
Yeah, we got a young quarterback already who can run. Yeah, they'll be done. It'll be over already.
Bro. Oh, I would laugh so hard.
Me too, man. All right, game line. Here we go. Game line spread. Falcons -4. Over under 44.5. -2.5. 205 for Atlanta, plus 170 Las Vegas. What do you think, Glenn? What are you thinking in this one?
Falcons are going to win. I'm surprised they're not starting Michael Penix in this game. This would be the perfect game to start Michael Penix. Like, if you're the Falcons, Kirk Cousins has been terrible lately. That being said, I expect the Raiders to go get a couple turnovers in this game. Kirk's arm is just not good anymore, sadly. Or it might be that he can't get his legs, on the throw from the Achilles or something. But I can't pick the Raiders to cover this spread. I just can't. I kind of like the over. I know they didn't hit it last week, but they had a chance to a couple times. They're easily could have got a garbage time touchdown to hit that over. I like the over in this game though. I can't imagine this game's really going to be some like gross like defensive slugfest. I think it's just going to be a lot of Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Those guys are going to Bijan. They're going to they're going to get after it, and I expect the Raiders defense to get a couple of turnovers. The pass rush has been good lately, and yeah, I think the Falcons win by like 10 late. It would be my guess.
So I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say the Raiders win this game.
It would be. It would not shock me.
And the only reason I say the Raiders win this game is because Kirk Cousins is 4-10 on Monday Night Football.
That is true. We do get primetime Kirk. That is
right. Kirk Cousins is 4-10 on Monday Night Football, and this is like the ultimate Kirk Cousins Falcons. I'm the starting quarterback that just crumbles the season, where he just is like terrible. Max Crosby's like in his face the whole game. They're just, they're stopping Bijan Robinson for some damn reason. Everything just goes wrong for the Falcons because it's Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. If this game was like on a Sunday at like 2:00, I would pick the Falcons. But just because it's Monday Night Football, I just have a weird feeling about this game. Like, it's Monday night, the Raiders have been playing hard, and and Kirk Cousins, his arm is like basically Peyton Manning's at this point. It's Peyton Manning 2015 is Kirk Cousins' arm.
Wow.
I don't know if it was the Achilles or whatever it is.
It could be the Achilles.
Right? It could have been in that. But like, he had some kind of like velocity measure or something. And he was like the only quarterback this year to throw a ball under 36 miles per hour.
Yeah. No.
So I'm just telling you, like, this is like the ultimate. It's not even about the Raiders, in my opinion, in this game. It's not about the Raiders winning this game. It is about the Falcons imploding. Because one, they're the Falcons. Two, they have Kirk Cousins. That's why I think the Raiders might win it.
They might. No, this is a winnable football game. It's a struggling team. That's a team that snatches defeat out of the jaws of victory. Like, they find ways to lose, similar to the way the Raiders do. They're a more talented team for sure, and so there's always that. I'll tell you my final prediction for this game. I think Kirk Cousins stinks it up early. Stinks it up. I'm talking Raiders up 13 points in the second quarter. What? People are switching over from the doubleheader, Minnesota and Chicago. They're like, wait, the Raiders are beating the Falcons. What the hell? And they're switching over and watching it. Michael Penix comes in. And then Michael Penix, because you know what? This is just the year of punishing the Raiders. Michael Penix comes in and throws like 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Why not? Right? That's what we deserve. Why not?
Or like, he comes into the half and just
that's what I'm saying. Like, Kirk Cousins was like throws like 2 picks early, one a pick 6, like an embarrassing one on Monday Night Football. Raheem Morris just goes, no, Mike, get in there. Did you hear what John Gruden said about? I know I'm bringing him up all the time, but like John Gruden said about Michael Penix.
What do you say?
Somebody they have a call-in show where after the games, fans that are pissed off about their teams call John Gruden and ask him to wait. It's such a good idea.
I've seen that.
And he goes, if Michael Penix was good, he'd be playing. That's what he said.
I mean, that is very true, though. It is
because the guy threw 9. He goes, if I had a quarterback that threw 9 interceptions in a row without a touchdown, the guy behind him's playing. If he's worth any shit, So it's interesting. But I feel like this is the game that Michael Penix comes in and just punishes us. Because why not?
I feel the same way about Desmond Ridder, because they're really trying really hard to get Aiden to play.
Ridder stinks.
They're pushing. Like, we're not sure. He didn't practice today, but there's still a chance. They are really pushing for O'Connell to play right now, which I kind of feel like is like Antonio Pierce is a little bit of his desperation to try to win. But like, they are really like, they just won't let Desmond play. They're like, no. Like, yeah, sure, he's playing the ones right now in practice, but we want Aiden O'Connell to play. We're not sure. Maybe the knee will heal up by Monday. We're icing it. We're giving him shots.
Yeah,
we're massaging it.
Tom Brady donated some cells to him.
Yeah. Alex Guerrero's in there working. He's working that. He's working that knee right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. Like, they don't want to play Desmond Ridder. Like, bro, like Aiden O'Connell, he got carted off with a cast. They're like, it's a bone bruise. I'm like, bro, that's not. Come on, dog. That's not a bone bruise.
I know. I don't know what I mean. There's probably a bruise there, among other things. Yeah,
But they're like, no, Ritter's not playing. No. So I don't know what that's about, but
that would be funny if Aiden's out there. If we get just gritty, limping, wincing Aiden O'Connell.
it would just be funny because they're literally forcing him out there. That's the funny thing. All right, let's get into these final game lines here, and then we'll get to these questions to get out of here. So, all right, Packers versus Seahawks, Steelers versus Eagles, Bills versus Lions, Dolphins versus Texans. The only other game that I thought I could replace any of these games was Bucks versus Chargers. I thought about that.
It's an interesting. That one's interesting, and I do think Bucks money line's an interesting play in that game.
Yeah, because this is what I'm saying. I can see the Chargers imploding, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And Bucky Irving might not be playing in that game, so we'll see. They need him to beat good teams. Packers Seahawks got the spread is Packers -6.
Yes.
Over unders 45.5. Okay. My mind is saying Seahawks +6 because if the Seahawks are getting +6 at home, and they're not as good of a team as Packers, but their defense is playing out of control right now. And Jordan Love will throw an interception in this game. That's just what's going to happen. And the Seahawks have been insane on the turnover front lately. Like they have Ernest Jones is playing good linebacker for them. Their defensive line is getting after it. Leonard Williams has been out of his mind this year, and they seem to be coming together in that Mike McDonald scheme. Packers might win this game,
yeah,
but I think it's going to be close. So I would say Seahawks +6 is the way to go.
Yeah, the Packers are -6 because I think the Packers have only lost to the Vikings, the Lions, the Eagles.
Yeah,
and and I think the Lions twice. I think they lost to the Lions twice. So they've lost 4 games to teams who have I think they're 46-6.
right.
So that's why the Packers are up that high. So the Packers are expected to kind of beat them down a little bit. I might have that too high though, but let me see.
That does feel really high. It should be 3.5 Packers.
It might be 3.5. Let me make sure of this. But yeah, even if it is, I still think the Packers are. I think they're going to beat them down. It is. I messed it up. It's 2.5, guys. Sorry.
2.5. Okay, so that's 2.5. Yeah, at that point, I like the Packers inside a field goal for sure.
Yeah. My bad, guys. It's 2.5. But to be honest, I think the Packers beat down the Seahawks.
People say that, but the Seahawks have this weird thing that they do is they make you play really stupid against them. It's kind of the thing that makes me jealous as a Raider fan is nobody plays stupid against the Raiders. Everybody just feels like they're 15 IQ points smarter than them every time they play them. And I'm always like, man, I need the coach that gets them to play stupid. And I could see the Packers doing stupid things at Seattle. And look, that place is going to be fired up. They have a chance to not put the division away, but they have a chance to really assert themselves as number 1 in the NFC West. I know the Rams are coming, but the Niners are out. They're done. Cardinals are toast. And the Seahawks have a chance to win that, have I think a 2-game lead on the Rams, or a 1.5 game lead on the Rams at least. And they do play each other later, but that place is going to be going crazy. It's a primetime game, Sunday Night Football. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to take the Seahawks money line. Screw it. Regardless of that adjusted spread, Seahawks money line.
Okay. So Seahawks money line for that one. You really think that?
Yeah. Sure? I think it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to come down. Jordan Love's going to throw a couple passes. Everyone's going to go, what the hell? But it's Jordan Love. He's going to do some dumb things. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball that well against Seattle. Seattle has a really good defensive front. And I'm telling you, I just Packers on the road. I don't trust them there.
Yeah. All right. Bills versus Lions. My brother's watching. He's a Bills fan. He left a comment here. So he's going to be watching this one. What do you think? Bills versus Lions. This one is right, guys. -2.5 Detroit.
Yeah, that's right. That looks right. I am gonna take the Lions. I think one thing we figured out if you watch that Bills versus Rams game, which was electric. My dad's a Rams fan. He's loving life right now. They won games two different ways. They won a
Yeah.
shootout and a slugfest, so in a row against two pretty good NFC teams.
Yeah.
I think the Lions are going to win this game because I think the NFC is better than the AFC this year.
Okay.
So these are the type of games where that happens. I think the Lions are going to be able to handle business. I think it's going to be a shootout. That over/under is high. I would, it's right at it. I probably wouldn't touch it, but I would say the Lions are going to cover. You basically are saying Jake Bates, who's been really good kicking this year. Jake Bates can make that 3-point. If it's tied, he can make that a 3-point cover. I think Josh Allen's playing incredible ball. I mean, he played so well in that Rams game. He was so good, but I think the Lions are going to be able to run the ball. Kyron Williams ran the ball pretty well against the Bills.
Yeah.
And I think the Lions should be able to do it, two times better, and late in the game, man. When you play the Lions just late in the game and they need to just kind of move the ball against you, they have what they need. And the Bills, it takes a Josh Allen big play. With the Lions, they just need to run their offense to beat you sometimes because they just have so much talent up front and at running back. And Goff is he does make mistakes, but only in a couple games this year. So we'll see. I like the Lions.
This one's tough for me too, a little bit, but I feel like this might be like Josh Allen's MVP game.
You're right. If he does, I think he's already got it locked up. But like, if he does, then if he beats the Lions, holy
I
shit.
think this might be it. Like where like the Lions are like moving the ball really well, right? And they're like putting points up on the Bills. But I think a lot of people with the Lions defense, right? They got a lot of injuries over there.
They do.
Right. I think their secondary is like, they got some good players over there. Carlton Davis is a good player. Terry Arnold is a young player. But I think that this is like if Josh Allen pulls this off, he's going to win MVP, right? I mean, how many weeks we got left? I think this is the game where he solidifies it. Where because even if it's like 35-31, which I think this game is going to be like, it's going to be like either way. It's going to be that type of game where these teams can't really stop each other.
Right.
But we get some like dramatic plays, like, do you stop the Lions on fourth down? All those things are going to happen. It's going to add up in this game. And I do think, I think this is Josh Allen's MVP game. I just got to feel like, I feel like Josh is going to go off.
I mean,
because Shakir is getting better.
Yeah.
You still haven't got your 200-yard Amari Cooper game. You haven't got that yet. Amari Cooper has one 200-yard game, right? A season. It doesn't matter where he's at or where he's playing at. He just has one. Usually it's in a dome. I don't know. These things. I don't know. It's interesting game. It's
the game of the day. It's the game of the day. I mean, it really is. And this is a good. I hate that all these games are at like 1:25 in prime time because the 10 a.m. window is so bleak on West Coast time. There's just nothing going on there, and I wish that at least Steelers, Eagles, or one of those teams could be playing earlier in the day. Man.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's Steelers versus Eagles, which is another good game. Steelers versus Eagles. What are you thinking?
Well, if you're telling me Mike Tomlin's losing this game by a touchdown, I'm calling your bluff. So the Eagles have their trouble. I'm calling. I have a huge conspiracy theory about the Eagles. They're really pissing me off, and I'm tired of hearing about how they can't get the ball to AJ Brown. You're 11-2. Shut up.
I know, right?
No one cares. You have a Saquon Barkley who's going to rush for 2,000 yards this year. I mean, yeah, throw it to AJ Brown. I get it. Jalen Hurts is kind of I think we understand now what Jalen Hurts actually is. He's not a guy that's going to get everybody 1,000 yards around him. It's just not the case. You have Saquon Barkley. I think the Eagles like created like a conspiracy theory in the media, like to be like, oh, we're trying to fire up our team one more time to get the 1 seed, and
Yeah.
they're gonna like force the ball into AJ Brown's hands this week, which I don't think is the right idea. He's a great receiver, but they're gonna have to live throwing to Saquon, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. They have all these other guys. Their offensive line is really, really crushing it right now. That being said, the Steelers are going to cover the spread. Maybe outright win. Plus 205 Pitt money line is a really, really nice play. I think that the thing about this is another thing I wish the Raiders had. Mike Tomlin makes you play Steelers football when you play against them. That's a sign of a good coach is when you have to play ugly against them. Like you're going to have to make me play ugly. You're going to have to win against me in like this gross, like sloppy mud game. And that's what I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be like an ugly, like 16-10 game. Like this is like 16-10 Steelers, in my opinion. But I'll say if you want to be conservative, go Steelers plus 5.5.
Yeah, I do think they hit the under too. I think they hit under in this game. I think it's even if like the most this game will be 20-23, right? Hitting that like right around there. So you got to play it safe there. I think the Steelers win this game too, just because. One, I think the Eagles are in a little bit of a mess too. I think the feeling around Jalen Hurts. This game's in Philadelphia. Like if the Steelers come out and play really well, we know how Philly fans are. They're going to start booing. They're going to start getting on this team hardcore. They're already really off them, and they're 11-2. I mean, you saw that video of them like shitting on Jalen Hurts. They're literally already off this team. They're 11-2. Like the Raiders are 2-11. If you're a Raiders fan, think about that. We would be dying to be 11-2.
I would love to have this problem. I would. What?
You know what I mean?
It pissed me off. All I got here is Dan Orlovsky telling me how to get the damn ball to AJ Brown. I don't give a shit. Like
they won the game. like
oh
what the
my
fuck?
God.
The Raiders lost to the Panthers 33-14.
Yeah, this is just like I just feel like I'm sitting underneath the table hoping crumbs fall while everybody else is complaining that the meat's not seasoned right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
this is terrible.
What the fuck? I just don't understand it at all. I don't understand like the whole talk about it, but I think it's going to play a lot into this. They might pass the ball more. Like I'm saying, if they have like 2 straight 3-and-outs against a good Steelers defense, the crowd's going to fucking start booing them. That's why I think the Steelers win this game.
And to be honest, how far is the trip for Steelers fans? Not that far.
It really isn't.
We got a battle of Pennsylvania, folks. We got a battle of Pennsylvania.
Oh, man, I'm taking Steelers just because of that. Let the Eagles offense like score 3 points in the first half. They're going to be getting booed, shit thrown at them, and they're not going to be able to handle it. And the Steelers are going to be able to kind of just grind it out, just like how they
Russell Wilson, a couple like random Russell Wilson plays that get them in field goal range.
Exactly. Yeah.
Chris Boswell nailing it. Telling you, Jake Elliott's not kicking very well this year.
Exactly. He might miss a field goal or something. Like exactly, the Eagles are already set themselves up to kind of like fall apart a little bit, and the Steelers team is too well coached. And unless like Mike Tomlin's playing a bad team, he really doesn't fuck it up. So
nope. No, I think again he makes them. He turns it into tables, ladders, and chairs match. That's what he does.
Exactly. All right, last game, Dolphins versus Texans. What are you thinking?
So I like Dolphins +3. The Texans offensive line is an absolute mess. If it's not Joe Mixon going off, nothing looks right on that team. I think CJ Stroud's had kind of a year. Something doesn't look right there. The Dolphins are playing good ball right now. Like they're playing good ball. Everybody's pointing to that Jets game last week. That's always a weird division game. Anytime those teams play, I look at the score and I go, what the hell? I feel like it's a game I never pay attention to, but then I see the final score and it's 26-23. So Dolphins versus Texans. I think the Dolphins are playing good ball. Texans got to watch out, man, because Broncos play the Colts this week. And if the Colts beat the Broncos, the Texans are not a guaranteed playoff team at that point. And I think the Colts are like, I won't say they're a better team than the Texans, but when I watch them, they play harder than
Yeah.
than the Texans do. And I think DeMeco Ryans is a good coach. I think CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. I think Nico Collins is a damn good wide receiver. But they have this issue where if they're not making huge plays on defense, and look, they need their defensive line to get home and let Stingley make plays, but the Dolphins get rid of that. Tua doesn't hold the ball long enough to get hit half the time. So and Jonnu Smith's been a crazy addition to the Dolphins. Waddle and Hill are playing really well right now. I think the Dolphins win this game, but I'll take them +3.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Texans are the AFC South.
They're
team.
frauds. They are frauds.
They're an AFC South team, right? You know what I mean? Like they're not really like, yeah, you win the AFC South going 10-7 like they did last year. Like winning the AFC South is not some kind of like feat in my opinion, right? It you don't have to have like a 12-4 team or a 13-4 team. I mean, or like any team like that. You can go 9-8. You can go 10-7. You can still win that division. So the Texans were always a little bit overrated altogether. You know, going into the season, when when you think about that, they're an AFC South team.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the Dolphins have a chance to kind of beat them. I think Tua is actually playing really well right now.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
He's actually getting to the second read, which is a step up. We're seeing Tua get to the second read, guys. So I still think he has a shot to play pretty well. And then, Odell got released. So, they didn't got to worry about Odell crying about getting targets.
No, and, Malik Washington's a fun little player that they have, too.
Yeah.
Achane, like, they're tough. They took a bad loss. I can't remember who it was against a couple weeks ago. Otherwise, I think they'd be really in that mix for that last wild card. I mean, they still are. They're not out of it. But, man, I'll tell you, like, that Texans team, they better watch out, because if we'll all be rooting for it as Raider fans, but if the Colts go out there and beat the Broncos in an ugly game, watch out. That AFC South becomes a weird division where Shane Steichen all of a sudden got the Colts hosting a playoff game with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. It could happen.
Yeah. You got a point, man. All right. Let's get some of these last questions here. Are any of these QBs worth top 5 picks?
No.
Oh, yeah, they're not, if we're keeping it real. What are we saying is guaranteed Raiders take one of these QBs top 5? There's no veterans available.
Rewind, because I did the Sam Darnold question. Nobody seems excited by it.
It's the sack rate, bro. It
is. And then also, like, what is, Seattle, I thought for a while was going to get rid of Geno Smith, but if they might win the division, so I don't think that's the case. And do you want Geno Smith? I don't know. I will say this right now. There is an issue with quarterbacks right now with development in the league that is not being discussed.
Yeah.
And fan bases and coaching staffs are not given enough time to make something happen, because Mike McDonald's been able to oversee Tua's development. Tua looks kind of good this year. And then, but you look at guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, they're in their late 20s, more or less. Sam Darnold's 27. They're finally starting to grow. Whereas in the past, you'd get that time to do that with one team.
Yeah.
And you're seeing guys like Zach, other teams, Daniel Jones. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Daniel Jones does well for somebody next year, the way this is going. And that was the reason I brought up the Sam Darnold thing is like, maybe it's better to get these guys when they're 27 than it is when they're 21. I don't care what the rookie contract stuff is. Like, some of these guys are coming in. Steve Young, if anybody listened to Steve Young's interview on Pardon My Take, he said, I'd love to play quarterback now. He's like, no one's allowed to hit you, and the flats are wide open. And he said that, and he's like, I would kill it. And it's like, imagine if Steve Young was quarterback of the Dolphins right now, he would be insane. It's just like, it's a different game, but guys are figuring out what's free in the NFL. What's free? What can I take? And it takes some skill and some smarts to learn. And that's why I like some of these veteran guys. And I think there's a hack in the system right now with some of these guys that didn't work with other teams on their rookie contract that were not given the time to develop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nobody thinks Daniel Jones is going to do well next year. Who thought Sam Darnold was going to be good this year?
Exactly.
Who thought Baker Mayfield was going to go crazy with Tampa? All right. Yeah. You've heard it all before. Okay. You guys
What's
know
your
everything.
opinion on Rourke?
We'll see. He might tear my guys up in Notre Dame. So if he tears my guys up at Notre Dame, then I'll probably beg the Raiders to draft him.
Goff or Tua this week? I would go Tua.
Yeah, Tua is playing really good ball right now.
See, Goff's just consistent in offense, and I don't know how much the Bills are really going to stop them. I don't think the Lions will be able to stop Josh Allen.
No, I like you said, 35-31 sounds like a final score, and you could tell me either team will be 35.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? All right. My brother apologized for letting me be a Raiders fan because I played Techno Road, because yeah, I did like Bo Jackson.
Damn. And look what that cost you.
A lot of my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want me to do. I'm gonna do a Drew Aller breakdown here soon.
Well, wait till the playoff game. You gotta wait till the playoff games.
Let me. Yeah, I can do that. I can.
We want to see him in a big game. You know,
situation, right?
Yeah, at least let the SMU game, come out.
His film is just so boring. That's the thing. Like he doesn't do anything. So it's like,
you're just saying, yeah.
Because I watched him against USC, and it was just.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him in that playoff game. Like we got to go win this damn game. Like I want to see him there.
Yeah. All right, guys. We are out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We kind of went over the quarterbacks, a lot of conversation about a lot of things that happen to the Raiders. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Of course, follow us on Twitter at the March on for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are out of here. Peace.
Nice.